Okay, this is the Christmas homework number 2. It's the calculator paper unit 2, November 2016 paper. I'm just going to give you the solutions for the first 10 questions in the paper. So if we look at question 1, first of all it's asking us to pick a prime number from the list above. You should know that a prime number's got only 2 factors, which would be 1 in itself. So straight away you can ignore all the even numbers because the only even prime number is 2. So we're left with 57, 59, 61, 63 and 65. 57, well 3 19s makes 57 and 1 in 57, so that's got 4 factors. 59 could be a prime number because the only numbers that go into 59 is 1 and 59. 61, you could also have that one, or 61. 63 isn't because you could have 7 times 9, 21 times 3. And 65 isn't because it ends in a 5, so it can be divided by 5 and 1 in itself, so it's got at least 3 factors. A cube number is a result of multiplying a number by itself 3 times, so you go 1 times 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, and after working a few of these out, you should be able to see that 4 times 4 times 4 gives me an answer of 64. A factor of 186, so that basically means a number that divides exactly into 186. We'll have to do a little bit of thinking. You should be able to see that 62 goes into 186 3 times. 62 plus 62 is 124, plus another 62 would give me 186, so 62 would be that one. A multiple of 7.25 really means a number in your 7.25 times table, but I know you don't know that, but if you start with 7.25 and keep adding 7.25 with your calculator, that's going to give me 14.5. If you add on another 7.25, that's going to give me 21.75. If I add on another 7.25, that's going to give me 29. And if I kept that going, I could end up seeing that I would get an answer of 58. Okay, question 2. Circle the correct answer for each of the following statements. One angle in a right angled triangle is 60. One of the other angles must be. Well, if you've got a right angled triangle, one of the angles has got to be 90. If one of them is 60, you should know angles in a triangle are at 180, so that other angle must be 30. So it's got to be that answer there. 3 of the angles in a quadrilateral are up to 250. The size of the 4th angle is what? Well, you should know that angles in a quadrilateral are up to 360. So the 4th angle must be 110 because 110 and 250 makes 360. He was facing north, so we always take north to be up the page, and then we've got never eat shredded wheat. Okay, he turns clockwise until he is facing west. So clockwise means the same direction that a clock is moving in. So he's going to move from there around until he's facing west. What angle has he turned through? Well, he's gone through 90 plus another 90 plus another 90, which is 270 degrees. Okay, question 2. I really need some tracing paper for this, but I haven't got any. But if you want order rotational symmetry of 2, it needs to be how many times the shape fits on top of itself as you turn the tracing paper through one complete turn. For this to happen, I would need to shade these 4 squares here. This one here, and these 2 here. And if you put tracing paper over that and then trace it and move it through one complete turn by using the center there, it should fit on itself twice as you move it through one complete turn. Okay, 4a, solve the equation 3x minus 2 equals 10. So if you solve an equation, you're trying to work out the value of the letter. So we need to get rid of the minus 2, so you can either take the minus 2 over this side, it becomes plus 2, or you do the opposite, so I need to add plus 2. So minus 2 add 2 disappears. That just leaves me with 3x on the left hand side, and then 10 plus 2 gives me 12. And then to get rid of the 3 there, I need to divide both sides by 3. So I'm going to end up with x equals 4. A number machine is shown below. Calculate the output when the input is -2. So we put in -2 in. We're going to add 5, which is going to give me 3. Then I'm multiplying by 7. 3 times 7 is going to give me 21. Write down an expression for the output when the input is n. So this time I put in n. So I'm going to n, then I'm going to add 5. So n add 5 would be written as n add 5. Then I'm going to multiply by 7. So I'm multiplying the whole thing by 7. So I need a set of brackets. And I put the 7 on the outside. You could also write it as n plus 5 times 7 like that. But you need to put the brackets in or you won't get your marks. Okay, question 5. Complete each row of the following table. The first row has been done for you. So you're given some place names and the temperature at midday, the change in temperature, and then the temperature the following midday. So in Dolgellau, the temperature at midday is -3. And then the following day is 1 degree. So if you think of your number line, if you're starting on -3, then you got to -2, that's 1 degree, -1, 0, 1, that's gone up 4 degrees centigrade. Okay, if you're on 2 degrees and you go down 3, so if you're starting on 2, you go down 1 degree, that's going to be 1, down to 0, and that's going to end up being -1 degree C. Okay, if you've got a temperature here and it goes up 2 degrees and then you end up being at -2, if you sort of think backwards, if you're on -2 and then you go down 2 degrees, you should start with -4 degrees C. Okay, we're asked to work out the value of x. You should know for a quadrilateral that angles add up to 360. So if I knew what this one is, I could work out x because I know that they should all add up to 360. Well, I can work that out if I cover that up there. What I've actually got there is that angles on a straight line. You should know that angles on a straight line add up to 180. So this angle here is going to be 55 degrees because 55 and 125 add up to 180. And then if I add 74, 55 and 117 and take them away from 360, that's going to give me my angle for x. So if I just do that quickly on my calculator, 55 plus 117 plus 74, I'm going to be doing 360, take away 246, and that gives me an answer of 114 degrees. Okay, question 7. Show clearly whether the following statement is true or false. If you increase a positive number by 10% and then decrease that new value by 10%, you get back to your original number. So you can pick any number you want. I would suggest picking an easy number like 20 or 40. So if I find 10% of 40, I'll start with a number of 40. If I find 10%, I'm just dividing by 10. So 10% is going to give me 4. If I'm increasing a number by 10%, that means 40 plus 4 gives me 44. Then it says if I decrease the new value of 10%, I get back to the original number. So if I decrease, so if I find 10% now of the new number of 44, that's going to give me 4.4. And if I'm decreasing, I'm taking it away. 44 take away 4.4 gives me an answer of, if I work that out in my calculator, of 39.6. Well, you can see that 40, the number I started with, is not the same as 39.6. So that statement is false. Okay, question 8. Congruent means exactly the same size and exactly the same shape. So it says here all equilateral triangles are congruent. Well, that is false because you could have an equilateral triangle which is really small like that. And then you could have one which is big. They're both equilateral triangles. They've all got the same length sides. But one is bigger than the other. And for it to be congruent, they have to be the same shape and the same size. All squares of equal areas are congruent. That has got to be true. Because if I've got a square which measures 2 by 2, the area would be 4. And the only way I can have a square with an area of 4 is if it's 2 by 2. So if they're equal areas, they've got to be congruent. Okay, Circles with equal perimeters. Perimeter means the distance around the outside of the shape. So the distance around the outside of the circle is all the way around there. It's also called the circumference. If they've got equal perimeters, they've got to be the same size. So it's got to be true. All regular hectagons are congruent. Well, a regular octagon just means that the sides are all the same shape. The word regular means the sides are the same length, sorry. So you could have an octagon which is small like this, and all the sides are the same length. We could also have a big one. Again, all the sides would be the same length. One is bigger than the other, so they're not congruent, so that one would be false. Okay, question 9. In this question, you'll be assessed on the quality of your organisation, communication and accuracy in writing. A square is a perimeter of 80 centimetres. A circle fits exactly inside the square as shown in the diagram. Calculate the circumference of the circle. Give your answer correct to 1 decimal place. Okay, so you should be able to spot that one length here, this length of the square, is going to be the same as the diameter. So, and to work out the circumference of a circle, I need to use the formula C equals pi times d. So I need to know what d is. But I'm told you the square has a perimeter of 80 centimeters. So we could do some, because I've got 4, perimeter means the distance around the outside of the shape. So if I started there, that side plus that side plus that side plus that side is going to give me an answer of 80 centimeters. So the length of one side has got to be 80 divided by 4. 80 divided by 4 is 20 centimeters, and that's the same as the diameter. So the diameter is also equal to 20 centimeters. So the circumference of a circle C is equal to the formula pi times d, where d stands for diameter. So the circumference is going to be equal to pi, which is the number on your calculator, and d is 20. So I just need to plug that into my calculator. So I'm doing shift times 10 to the power x button there to get pi, and then I'm timesing by 20, and the answer comes up in terms of pi, but if I press the SD button I'll change it into a decimal for me, and I'm giving my answer to 1 decimal place, so it's going to be 62.8, and circumference is a measure of length, so it's just going to be in centimeters. Okay, so because it's an OCW question, you need to make sure you've got an explanation for each part of your calculation. You need all your workings out, you need your answers, and you need all the units, and all your spelling needs to be correct. Okay, last question, number 10. Write down the nth term for the following sequence. Well, the nth term is just a formula to find any number in the sequence, and you can work that out by, if you work out what the rule is to get from one term to the other. So I'm adding 1. Whatever you're adding on, that's what number goes in front of the letter n. So because you're adding on 1, it's going to be 1n, which you could just write down as n. If it was going up in 5, it'd be 5n. If it was going up in 8, it'd be 8n. And then the second part of the formula, if you imagine the sequence going backward, what would be the 0 term here? Well, it's going to be the number 2. And because it's a positive number 2, I'd put a plus 2 on the end. And that would be your answer. But to write it a little bit neater, you can just write down n plus 2. Okay, the nth term of a different sequence is given by n squared plus 7. Write down the first 3 terms of the sequence. So for the first term, n would be equal to 1. For the second term, n would be equal to 2. For the third term, n would be equal to 3. So all I need to do is substitute in n for each of these and then work it out. So I'm working out 1 squared plus 7, 2 squared plus 7, 3 squared plus 7. Well, 1 squared is 1 plus 7 is 8. 2 squared is 4 plus 7 is 11. 3 squared is 9 plus 7 is 16. So my 3 answers are 8, 11 and 16. It says which term of the sequence is the first that has a value greater than 85. Well, you could keep trying numbers. Probably the easiest thing you have to do is just to try different numbers for n until you get to your answer. So if I tried something like 6, so if n was equal to 6, I'll be doing 6 squared plus 7, which is 6 6s are 36, plus 7 would be 43, so it's not that one. We're going to need to try a bigger one than that. If I tried n equals 8, 8 squared plus 7, 8 8s is 64, plus 7 is 71, so it's not that. If I tried, if n is equal to, say, 9, I'm going to have 9 squared plus 7. Well, 9 squared is 81, plus 7 would be 88. So the first term that is greater than 85 is when n equals 9, so it's going to be the 9th term. And they are your solutions for the first half of the paper.